Welcome to Advocacy Talks, a podcast from the advocacy team at Vision Ireland. Here's what's coming up on this episode.
I would have played many gigs, but all of the bands would have consisted of me and fully sighted people, if you like. I know the music community. It's a wonderful, close-knit community, and I found nothing but the height of respect for my abilities. We have always made it clear that my sight problem is not involved in the music.
And now, here's Madeleine McNamara.
Hello everybody and welcome to Advocacy Talks, and thank you so much for listening today. You may remember that in our last episode we were talking about audio description, and I was joined by Dr. Lucia Pintado, who had just published a report all about audio description and how, to try to increase the availability of that. So if you did miss it, please do listen back. It was really interesting, and we're hoping to really improve services in that area for people. Well, today we're talking about another sort of form of entertainment, and as it's coming up to Christmas, and I know your focus is probably on that right now, but then you're going to need to think about your New Year's resolution soon. So you might like to think about maybe joining a band. So today I'm joined by Tony MacDonald, who is a vision impaired musician, and he's really keen to set up a band which would be made up of people who are blind or vision impaired. So Tony, welcome to Advocacy Talks.
Hiya Madeleine, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're very interested to find out all about this band and what that's all about. But first of all, maybe you might just introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Tony MacDonald is obviously my name. I'm vision impaired. I suffer from RP, which is the macular degeneration. I suffered from it since I was in my mid-teens, and I'm now in my mid-60s. My central vision is completely gone, and I have some peripheral vision. I'm a musician, as you said. I've been playing music an awful long time, a lot of years, and I've decided that it would be a fantastic thing, because I know the community of vision impaired and blind people out there. There are an awful lot of musicians who play at a very high standard. And this project would be concerned with people who are blind and vision impaired running the show from start to finish.
Wow.
So we would be a group of musicians and vocalists who are blind and vision impaired, who would come together, design an act, create a band, and make it feasible, as in getting out there and playing live. Now, what level of live, whether it's paid or it's charity work, but the whole idea of actually getting from step one, meeting each other, and then becoming a live band of blind and visually impaired people who have done it all ourselves. Obviously, we are going to need the help of fully sighted people for various reasons, which we'll probably go into further down this conversation.
Yeah.
But the nucleus of the work will be done by blind and vision impaired people, and we would make the decisions, and we would decide all aspects, what band members, what the band consists of, what the music consists of, how we go about our stuff. But there are obviously the obstacles which will become obvious in our conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's a really interesting proposal and opportunity for people to get involved. Because as you say, there would be a lot of people within the community, people who are blind and vision impaired, who would be very musical. And I know, as you say, you've been playing for a long time, and you're actually involved. You perform with groups, or have you over your your sort of span of playing? What has been your kind of experience, I suppose, of performing and being involved in music?
Well, I have played. I've played in a half dozen different bands, and anyone who's involved in music at the level I'd be involved in, which is not fully professional, but I would have played many gigs. But all of the bands would have consisted of me and fully sighted people, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes.
But I would say at this point, I have found I know the music community. It's a wonderful, close-knit community, and I found nothing but the height of respect for my abilities, and we have always made it clear that my sight problem is not involved in the music. So I go into a band, and I would know most of them pre the band anyway, because the community gets to know each other.
Yeah.
And I would tell them on day one, don't use my sight problem in the band. I will need help for transport and certain other things. But if I'm not up to scratch, if I'm not, at the level I need to be here, don't use my sight, because being impaired or blind really is no obstacle to playing music. There are when I say that, I mean if you're prepared to put the work in. I heard a great statement many years ago from a blind person, and they said, when we learn to accept being blind or visually impaired, that everything will take longer, then everything is possible.
That's a great statement. Yeah.
Yeah. When you find the acceptance of your visual impairment, and you learn a semblance of patience, which I have none.
No.
I have none. But when you learn that this is going to take longer, and I need to humble myself to some extent because I need help and I need to ask for the help. And when I do that, doors open.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've travelled a lot of the country and a lot of, certainly extensively in Dublin, Wicklow, places like that, playing music with bands. And I've never had to go outside. My door is open and someone's waiting for me to pick up my gear and take me and bring me home and all of the rest. Everything after that I do myself. I set my own gear up. I'm involved in the workings of the bands. I'm part of it.
Yeah.
But when I say I need help, I don't have transport, I need to get from A to B, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
That's fantastic.
So that is, without jumping too far on you, maybe down the road, is not the first, but one of the first problems that a band like this would encounter. But that would be in the discussion.
Yes.
The early discussion of, obviously we're blind and visually impaired, so we're going to need transport when we get moving.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to organise that.
So that is something that can be discussed once you get interested people involved. That is an issue that can be discussed together as a group and work out how people are going to manage that, I guess.
Well, the first thing to do is hopefully that this podcast and other public notices of this discussion is to find a group of people who are blind and visually impaired and who are like-minded and who are prepared. And like these musicians that we're hoping to reach will know what I'm talking about when I talk about the work that goes in before you get off the ground at all. So they will know, I want to play music, I'd like to give that a go, but they will be very aware that I don't have transport.
No, so you're really looking for people, I guess, who are experienced musicians. We're not looking in this instance for people who are just sort of taking up an instrument. You're really looking for people who are, are good at their playing and know how to play their instrument, and
people who have gigged, or people who would like to gig and have a lot of work done on their craft, if you like. Because to be honest with you, what I would love to see, and it may be a pipe dream, but for me it's not. Like I say, everything is possible. Is to create a band that would say it would probably be a covers band, a 5 or 6 piece, could be 7 piece. I don't know what instruments. I don't know what people are interested. But to do functions, to do conferences, to do bigger gigs, and they may just, in the beginning, they may just be charity gigs because every band's got to find its feet and get out there.
Yeah.
But the first job would be a group of people saying, yes, this could work.
Yeah.
And then deciding, well, what sound do we need? What instruments do we need? And obviously singers are vital in this. So if a singer comes along who has experience singing in a particular genre, there needs to be some kind of compromise. But we can't say to a singer, right, we want to do funk and soul, and if this singer is doing rock and roll all the time, so there has to be some kind. So all that's to be talked about and worked out before an instrument is even introduced.
Right. So you're not set on the style of music as such.
No.
You're kind of open
depending
to.
on who comes back. Depending on who comes back with an interest.
Yeah.
We find a common place to sit down over a big pot of coffee or whatever.
That sounds good.
Say, okay, this is who we are. This is who I am. Who are you? What do you do? What's your experience? What's your interest in this? How hard are you prepared to work? And I think anyone who even takes up the offer will be prepared to work because they know what it entails.
Yeah.
And then you'd say, okay, well, we can do this. This is the kind of music we can do. This is the kind of music. These are the instruments we will need.
So you play electric bass, is that right?
I play electric bass and blues harmonica for my sins.
Oh, there you go.
I started playing blues harmonica in a band many years ago. And I, being the egomaniac I am, I decided I wasn't getting enough of the limelight. So I said to the guy running the show, I said, have you got more work for me? He said, take up an extra instrument. And I just happened to pick up a bass and discovered that I'm one of these bass players. Some bands love them who doesn't play guitar, because a lot of bass players are failed guitarists, they say.
Oh.
But I don't know how to play guitar, so I'm not going to try to take anyone's spot. But I love the bass, and I studied it and got into it for years, and obviously played lots of gigs. And now that would be my main instrument, but I still use the blues harmonica in certain situations.
Yeah, I saw a video you shared with us there. You playing in a band there, like a pub, I think, with the clip that we showed. And you're certainly amazing. I was like, wow, fantastic, really, really good.
Good. Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, brilliant. And how did you learn it? The bass? Did you
I
go?
Actually self-taught. I mean, because I'm blind, because I'm visually impaired, but obviously, it would be very difficult for me to go to a regular teacher. Because everything he'd say to me, I'd have to take in anyway. So I bought the books. Now, I'm going back when you bought a book.
Before YouTube.
From a book. Yeah, way long, many years back in the 90s. And I got a book, and I learned it, and I struggled with it, and I nearly threw it through the window on more than one occasion. But I stuck at it. And I discovered that once I got into it and studied it, I found a way to teach myself through the study books.
Yeah.
And the people I was studying from in the books I discovered were 60s and 70s rock and blues and soul legends. So I got really great tuition through the books.
Yeah.
And I had to find a way to see what was written on the books, and I have a CCTV monitor here, which the NCBI at the time donated to me, and I've since upgraded that. But I had to learn to put the book under it and see it, and the struggles. Anyone who's blind and visually impaired will know the struggle that your instrument causes, because you have to twist and turn and find a way to see what you need to learn and hold the instrument. Where people who are fully sighted can just look in front of them and see it. Where we have to. This is what I'm saying about that John, the counsellor, many years ago in NCBI said, when you find the acceptance that things take longer, that's when you learn your instrument. It doesn't become a burden.
Yeah.
And I just went on. I knew a load of band. I knew a load of guys who were musicians. I offered myself. I formed some bands. And I got out there. And it's a soul food. Music is a soul food. It's a language all unto itself. And anyone who's not a musician may have difficulty. But singers will know too. Vocalists will know what I'm talking about. Once you get it, it's a great drug. Once you stand in front of a live audience, you want more. Doesn't matter what level you're at, you want more.
Oh no, it
So
is wonderful. I wouldn't be in anything like you. So I'm just in a local choir, and I love it because
yeah,
it's that being together in a community as well. But it's singing and music is just so wonderful. It really does bring a lot for people, I think.
well, you've got to make yourself vulnerable to stand and play live or to sing live. It doesn't matter what the audience is, but to stand up and with a group or a small number, 2, 10, 20, whatever people, and be vulnerable enough to say, I'm going to express myself completely with you, for you. That's a vulnerability, and that's what the soul food is. I think that's the joy of it. Isn't it an amazing art that a singer or a musician can go to the other side of the world, not speak the language, just sit down with his or her instrument or sing,
Yeah.
and immediately the communication is made, and then we just stand up and walk away. But we've been together for those moments, and we've created something which I think it's almost spiritual if it isn't.
Oh, no, it's amazing how music just can so move people, whether it's, giving joy, to some music, whether it's kind of emotion. Some music can almost make me feel like crying because it's so,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's amazing the power of music in that sense. And as you say, it kind of crosses any language.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can kind of share that, which is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, if you take it 50 years back, I mean, you can hear the song and immediately you're transported 50 years back, and you actually feel, well, for me, I'm sure with you and lots of people, you actually feel the emotion you felt when you heard the song, when it meant something 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever.
Yeah,
You actually
yeah,
feel that emotion inside of you. That's the power.
yeah. No, definitely, definitely. No, it's amazing. So just going back now to the sort of practicalities of this sort of proposition that you're putting out here. Um, I guess you're based on the East Coast, so we're
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
kind of in reality, kind of, I guess, thinking of people who would be on the East Coast. It doesn't have to be. I know you're down in
Shankill.
Shankill, but I mean anyone around that area. Where do you envisage maybe
Well,
meeting
I
up,
was
I
thinking
guess?
about this. I was thinking about this, Madeline, when you spoke to me last week about this podcast, and I thought, yes, because of the difficulties of transport and a group or a band of people getting together who are blind and visually impaired, like there would have to be an area. But if people hear this from other parts of the country, why don't they find their group or band in their area?
Yeah.
So it's not just one band.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I was thinking about this because let's say the metropolitan area of Dublin would probably encompass the people, because obviously we with the transport problem, you can't ask someone to come from Athlone or Cork or Galway. So
Yeah.
People hear this and think it's a good idea. Go and try it in your own area. That's what I'm suggesting. But what I'm suggesting is anyone who hears your podcast, let's create a community of blind and vision impaired people all over the country. For that reason, that if we travel through the country, we could meet these people down the road, not to be in a band, but just to meet them in a music setting.
Yeah.
So and let other people find their specific areas of the country and their bands. Let
Yeah.
their bands grow there. But anyone who hears this is welcome to call me. We did discuss it. I'm not great on social media and stuff like that. Let them call me, contact me, and let's chat and see where we can take it. And when we have enough interest from where I am, meet somewhere and sit down and discuss where do we go. That was step one, would be meeting. Step two is how do we take it forward.
Yeah. And just to give us a broad kind of sense, I know you're open to sort of different genres of performing things, but what kind of music instruments and things would you be looking for generally to form a band?
Well, in my mind, what I would love, this is just my own pet project in my mind, I would love a soul, funk, blues, rock style band, a band that can get out and play in events, functions, and outside. Now, and don't anyone listening saying you haven't a chance. It's a market out there now which is soaked because of so many venues closing. So it's difficult. But if you don't take the first step, you'll never know.
And you have experience, so I mean, it's not as if you were starting from the ground up in some ways, because you've been involved in so many bands.
The people I'm hoping that will contact me will have bags of experience too. And it's this business, and it is the music business, by the way. It's dog eat dog, but it's all about contacts.
Yeah.
So you go somewhere, you don't know who you're going to meet. You get a number, you share each other's numbers, and you might need that person or they might need you. So it's all about contacts.
Yeah.
But I envisage a band that can play gigs, big or small, live gigs. It's like we spoke, the soul food of getting out there in front of an audience.
Yeah. So you'd be looking at musical instruments such as what? Drums?
Drum. Well, I'll play bass, please God. Drum, bass, guitars, keyboards, brass, and very, very importantly, the front, the singer, the vocals, backing vocals. Like this band could consist of 3 people if it ever gets moving. It could consist of 10 people, depending on it. Now, bigger numbers mean you need bigger outlook.
Yeah.
But why not? Why not have fun getting it to some place? I've always found over the years the fun is getting the work done behind the scenes, so that if someone gives you a call and says, could you do a gig, you can say, yeah, we're ready.
And how much kind of preparation would go into that? Because, I know you're saying the people that would be interested would kind of know, but just for those who might not, I don't know, what is involved.
If everything else fell into place, like the groundwork fell into place, with good experienced musicians, within 3 months, you could be oven ready to go.
Wow.
But then again, you see, as soon as you become oven ready and you say, yeah, we can go, where do we go and how do we get there?
Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And
the first thing would be to do to get to a stage where we could, and it's really easy with phones these days, get a 5-minute promo that we can send out to agents and people, because it's all done that way now. The publicans don't do it. You used to go into the pub and say, can you give us a gig? And they'd get to know you and they give you a bit of work. But now they don't deal. It's all done through agents and that sort of business again. So you need to get a little video to them.
Right.
And then they contact you and say, can you do a gig in such and such a space, such a place? And that's where our problem would lie then, in that we're oven ready, as I say. We can go and do the gig, but how do we get there? So we have to have that preparation done.
Yeah. So that would be the transport aspect of it, isn't it? If you're a vocalist, have it easiest because they just bring themselves.
Oh, don't say, Madeline, you're going to get yourself into trouble there. Don't say that. They were very high opinion of themselves. But they are, I mean, they're what you look at. The vocalist is what you focus on. And after a while, you start listening to the band. But if you can get a really good front person, they make the sound, they do the business for you. Yeah,
but what I mean is they don't have to bring any equipment with them. You know what I mean? Their vocals they're built in.
You know, if you get involved in this band, you'll be hauling plenty of mic stands and drums and everything. That's what I'm saying.
I see. They've got to bring the mic and all that. Yeah. They all have to pitch in.
Have to help out with the rest of us.
Fantastic. I think that's a very good point, actually. Yes, they need to pitch in and do those parts as well. Yeah.
They'll know that. They know that. They are so important. You can have a really good band, but if the front is not right, it's not going to work. So you need a good front. Someone who can carry the show and create the sound that you've worked on.
Yeah. Well, it's a fantastic idea, and I really do hope that you can get it off the ground, and that people do think, New Year's coming up, New Year's resolution. You're playing away there at home or whatever, and this could be a fantastic opportunity to kind of really get your teeth into something and give it a go. So, would you like to share your phone number here, Tony, so that people could give you a call?
Before I do, Madeline, I will say that age and gender are no barrier. Most certainly, if you have what it takes, you'll know. So, I mean, that's the beauty again about music. I'm 65, you could have someone who's 20, 25, and he might gel. And if you gel, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. Age or gender is no barrier. I'll give you my number, and people who are interested and would like to give me a call and make some kind of a beginning, you can catch me on 085 773 2948, and it's Tony MacDonald.
That's lovely, Tony. Well, thank you so much. And we will be putting information in our newsletter, which is going out as well around this time. So people can also find it there if they're signed up for that. And if you're not signed up for our newsletter, why aren't you signed up for our newsletter? Get in touch with me, and I can sign you up. So fantastic. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. And it's brilliant. And I really do hope it gets off the ground. So just as always, if anyone, does need any support from Vision Ireland, you can always get in touch with us. You can look at our website at www.vi.ie, or you can call our info line on 1800 911 250. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll be back in the new year with something from Vision Sports, so keep an ear out for that. And lovely to have you all today. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Advocacy Talks. To get in touch with our advocacy team, send us an email to campaigns@vi.ie, or why not join one of our local advocacy networks, where you can work together with others to solve some of the biggest problems facing blind and partially sighted people in Ireland. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.